The first Guardians of the Galaxy did not impress me as much as it did others. Like, I enjoyed it, and I'd be down to watch it again if there was a movie night or something, but it did not hit the high expectations that I had set for it, given how everyone was praising it so much. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 doesn't fall too far off from the first. It continues the adventures of the Guardians after having saved the galaxy the first time, have now become heroes for hire for anyone who needs help with taking out threats, while exploring and furthering the main characters' arcs to develop them as a team. But all in all, is this film any good? This film has many likable aspects. One of the best elements of the first movie was how well the characters interacted with each other to bond as a team, creating this cohesion that makes watching them really enjoyable. And this film has that too. If you like the characters from the first film, then you'll like them again. We also get new additions to the team, including Yondu and Nebula, both of whom were in the first film, as well as Mantis, a brand new character. Even though we've been seeing team bonding and helping each other and all that stuff in Avengers and Civil War, this take on it is refreshing to see, especially since they're so different from how the Avengers is structured. We also get much more character development in this film compared to the first, particularly on Peter Quill, Yondu, and Nebula. Naturally, Quill has the most character development, but the one I favored most was Yondu, who really struck me as a much more intriguing character emotionally. The color palette of this movie is also really enjoyable and pleasing to the eye, as we rarely get such a bright and colorful movie as this one. And it's not that the look of the other movies are bad, but rather because we're so used to seeing them, this movie stands out a bit more from the others. Unsurprisingly, the soundtrack is awesome, although it's not quite as epic as the last one, and you may have noticed that I haven't mentioned Ego the Living Planet, but that's because that character is hard to talk about without spoiling literally the entire movie. But I did enjoy his character, and Kurt Russell did a great portrayal. This film, I feel, is not good by accident. It really benefits from having James Gunn as the director again, as he has a very clear vision of where he wants the franchise to go, while at the same time keeping in tune with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But this film, of course, is not without its issues. I felt that the movie tried way too hard to be funny, and this movie's humor is not bad, but I feel it could have been turned down a little bit, as there were some moments that really made me go, that was terrible. Some characters I felt were left out, not because they weren't interesting, but rather because I feel Marvel didn't know what to do with them. Drax is one of those characters, who had a really great dynamic in the first one, but has become completely uninteresting in this movie. I also don't buy the romance in this film, not between Star-Lord and Gamora, because I feel that was handled quite well, but between Drax and Mantis, which felt extremely forced and out of place. I also wished for further expansion upon the universe, especially with a character like Ego, who really shakes up the structure of the MCU. And I felt like that could have been explored much further. With all that being said, this is still one of the better offerings from Marvel. Most of their movies, even the good ones, don't really have that much rewatch value. This, thankfully, does not fall under that category. But it's one of those cases where the original is better, as I'm sure most people were expecting a much better sequel. And I think this is what happens when you produce a good film and raise the bar to unrealistic expectations that are extremely hard to meet. This movie, despite being more pleasing to the eye, is just not as groundbreaking as its predecessor, which benefited from having the element of surprise as most people were not familiar with these characters. However, if you do go to see this, I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself. Overall, I give this film a pretty bloody good. I really do enjoy this movie despite its flaws, and I think it's a good start for Marvel this year. Thanks all for watching this review, and if you enjoyed, then be sure to like, share, and favorite this video. It really helps the channel out, and if you feel like being nice, you can go ahead and subscribe to keep up with future content like this. I will continue to try despite my exams coming up, but it's going to be hard, and I might be absent for a few weeks. Anyway guys, thanks all, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.